यही है लग रहा है, ये दोनों में यही पतला वाला है।
परमानेंट वाले
ये
नहीं
नया
है?
है, हाँ ये पुराना है, हाँ इसी।
हेलो,
आ जाए।
Good afternoon, dear participants. I welcome all of you to the afternoon session, both online and as well as offline. So we are almost coming to the end of our technical session, which will be concluded by today evening, and tomorrow, as all of you are aware, there will be practical training and bit of description about how to take the copper plate stamp pages and a brief description about how we do carry out our exploration and copying of inscriptions, followed by interaction with the students, participants, and the certificate distribution and all. We have tried to cover as much as possible. Now, the two major scripts that remain, in fact, Proto-Bengali also is there, but right now, since we have a large number of inscriptions, both in copper plate as well as lithic, coming in early Nagari, so we will trace the further development of progression of Brahmi. Morning session we have seen a very unique style of writing Siddhamatrika characters. I told, three major scripts are connected in their further progression. That is, one is early Nagari, Sharda script, and Proto-Bengali. Now, Nagari, as you all of aware, it's found largely in most of the northern India, except the extreme north, where in Himachal and Kashmir and other regions, they have their unique, a different, of course, very close to Nagari, Sharda script. And in the eastern direction, when you move to Gaudiya and adjacent regions, you have the Proto-Bengali. Other than that, Nagari also has a very long history next to Brahmi, which of course owes its origin to the Brahmi only. We find in large parts of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, and down south also in Madhya Pradesh, even in the south, we have Nagari inscriptions, and there is another variety of Nagari called Nandi Nagari, which is close, of course, to the Nagari forms, but slightly it comes in little degenerated form. In the south, the Yadavas of Devagiri used in their inscriptions, and subsequently it became a major script for the copper plates, of course, with other Dravidian languages. Nagari used called Nandi Nagari. So we have various variations within that. Now let us try to know the basic forms and how in the evolution, right from 7th century onwards, we have the letters. 7th to 12th century, let's see the progress of this evolution of Nagari script. So when we take up the evolution where we left in the morning, the further progression will be seen right from Vardhamana. This 4 or 5 dynasties will take. Followed by Pratihara, Paramara, Chandelas, and Gahadwalas. So all this range from 7th century Common Era to the 12th century Common Era. So let's see under each dynasties how subsequently the Nagari developed the progression. I told in the beginning, the paleographers, when they started tracing the origin of Brahmi and its derivatives, they started from 3rd century, normally they end with 12th century. Though some minor changes do occur, but for all practical purposes, many they have confined themselves to 12th century while tracing the progression, and these major dynasties have been identified and their records are examined belonging to different periods, so that to give a continuity and minutely observe the changes that have come. So we will be seeing that. During, again for the benefit I am writing again, how the Siddhamatrika Vardhamana mainly, Vardhana dynasty, not Vardhamana, I am sorry for that. Harshavardhana. Pushyabhutis Vardhana. So this, as usual, so this is how you find the connection, and altogether it changes around the beginning of 8th century. It assumes very simple form, very close to our Nagari. Pratihar record, of course, you find here with a small head mark, and of course here you find the foot mark also, but all the curves, what you see here, the Kutila way of writing, you don't see, and it is the stroke which is used to be slant. Here it is just a straight line connecting both. And you find the little, instead of the triangular head mark, is a simple stroke. And the Paramara, you find these forms here like this, and a little head mark like you find here. And the beauty is that here on the left side of the arm you see a simple line. But for the first time, one of the major characteristic feature of Nagari is that they connected both the heads. It is the very significant aspect you have to note. Earlier you find all through left limb, there also used to be a little head mark, but here Nagari, when it started, they connected both. And Chandela also like that. And here you find a small wedge shape that disappears in the Chandela. So the connecting both the limbs is a very important, significant thing here. Again, I am not going to write all the forms. This I prepared from C. Sivaramurthy long back. So you can't expect all the forms. Yes, you can write like this, but to wherever available here, I have tried to connect this like this. There are forms, but available forms I have taken from the inscriptions. This is Dirgha. Yes, this I have already told you. So this need to be updated, my chart, whatever available. You may just question me, where are the all the forms I am not writing. Most of the forms are there except a few where you can presume they are there but not represented here in this chart. So this is Dirgha. In the remaining, definitely it's there. You can add, since I have examined many of the records, confidently I can put it here in Parmara or whatever. You find the strokes. There cannot be any doubt in this when you write also, because you examine. Yes, little bit of authentication I want. Go to the records and see, which I would like to do after some time. And for a very detailed and excellent work on Nagari, which everybody should read, by Professor A.K. Singh of Jiaji University, Gwalior, his thesis is on Nagari script. Perhaps you will find all the, when you read the book, I feel it's very essential to read and understand with a very vast introduction, taking a Nagari inscription from every part of the country. He has given different interpretation, including the etymological meaning, why the script is named Nagari, and so many theories and the views of the scholars, all are given. That I can't go, because there is one presentation there, but since I have to cover many other aspects, I am skipping those PPTs here. Otherwise, we have to extend this like another 5 days, which goes on for, because just to show the basic thing, I am here. I told the book, please read that book. Whether PDF available, I don't know, but you can find A.K. Singh, Origin Development of Nagari script.
Sir, in the Pratihara style of the head mark has been removed.
Yes.
Okay. And in the
Here also it will not be there. Just it's a presumed way.
And in the Parmara style, the footmark has been removed.
Yes. Footmark is not there. In the footmark you can, because when they lengthen, normally this goes off. As a single consonant will be there, but when Dirgha is made, the footmark will not be there.
Yeah, and while in the Garhwali style, there is a footmark.
Yeah. But anyway, this list doesn't have, I have added it. It requires some more authentication. Actually, I have tried to supplement it here, not substantiated by inscriptions. Because based on my experience in seeing, I have tried to add. But the chart which I am having on hand, that's what I will skip wherever it's not there. This, prepared long back. I have to devote some more time to look into these things. E, the same with, you find this. So this continues in all the dynasty till 12th century. Yes, Chandel also have seen, it will be only Gahadwalas you find a horizontal bar runs above. So this E, So you find on either side dot, it will be little, and here in this pratihar, it's like this. So remaining, I leave it blank instead of presuming and adding. Yes, definitely some style continued, we have to look into that, which I will try to add in the next workshop. U is vowel U. This all of you have written already, but anyway it's a thing. But here the flourish may be little less. There I have given more focus, but here I will be just writing like that. May not be so calligraphically correct. And in this O, one stroke, this is U, that you put one stroke and one, so don't think sta, it is U because of the stroke going upwards. And here also it is same, where it is its same form continues. So these are early Nagari forms, and Nagari, when it comes in Devanagari, naturally it takes a present form like this, which we are all writing. Maybe one stage little early to this Devanagari, some small changes. A is vowel A, and this I don't have for Pratihar. Again for Paramar we have stage where A so this all they retain that form, and again in this stage Gahadwala one stroke like this, and then they add a stroke coming like this. So naturally you can presume how the change comes. This will get dropped and then A. So these three stages are known through the inscription. Yes, definitely because of presence of large number of inscription, all the varieties must be available. Since Sivaramurthy wrote long back his calligraphy chart, and mine is based on that. Yes, it need to be, I think all the answers you get in the Mr. Singh, Professor Singh book, he has, I have gone through, but based on the lines I have to update the chart. So this all about the vowels, let me go with the consonants. Okay, yeah. Because reading the early Nagari is very easy for you. Now I hope I have been able to connect you from the early period and varieties. Though they are all written in Sanskrit, but the scripts employed from different regions are shown here. And ka, either you can keep the wedge open, which they call it notched type, a one stroke extending stroke with a footmark. This is ka. But here I told the one stroke. From here the footmark turns and continues a form like this. So they connect this lower end and form a letter. But still you can see that cursiveness, the kutila form. In fact, here also you have the head. You start from here and like this. And this is very simple here. One stroke, another stroke. Somewhere you have to start here, and then earlier they used to connect form the letter from this end, but later they shifted themselves to the little upper and formed the curve. Here you see from itself they curved, but later stages they started from little upper end. Further you see the change. That's how in the later stages, the modern way, how we write ka, that. This is ka, which again I am trying to write here. And this changes here with one simple. This curve goes off and they curve like this and then like this. This changes. So these little variations you find from dynasty to dynasty. Some changes you find in this fashion. Ga. And here you find Ga written like this, and then they brought down this left stroke below, and then in this stage what you find is stroke, and they connected with a small thing like this, and here the stroke goes like this, where they took the line like this. So it's very close to our writing, and you can see how the change that takes place. This is the important phase. Then every time when you see Nagari also, they start from Ashokan. But right for us it's not required. We have seen in bits the evolution up to late Nagari, late Brahmi. For us to trace the evolution of Nagari, this stage is important, the further. And without that, if you simply write Nagari form, there is no meaning in that. Unless you know the previous stages, how the changes, small changes has taken place. So it's all the more essential, because bauxite I can write straight away, nail head. But if I try to write this form, you are already acquainted with that. What is the speciality in that? So when we trace this 7th century onwards, so when I am telling, somebody asks about the Nagari progression, you can start from 7th. What are the important dynasty, major milestones, the changes that we see? North Indian dynasty, mainly Vardhana and the Pratihar, Parmara. They have huge, large number of inscriptions in central India and the northern. So those inscriptions are examined to trace the evolution. But still we owe a lot to either Dani or Sivaramurthy or Ojha, for that matter. The work they have done, again I tell, because we are purely dealing with that. Necessarily we have to take their name, remember them for their immense contribution. Otherwise we would have done nothing, no in this. But further we have to authenticate it. That's what I keep telling. Let's use the modern digitization, technology to more clearly, perfectly define letters. Then depending on the eye copy only. So why can't you go for individual letters, take a photograph of that particular inscription, eye copy will be there, digitized letter also will be there, and that more precisely you can put it. So this technology progress, if you don't adopt, it's not good. We have to, when we say archaeology is progressing, in the same way epigraphy also is there, but still we are still stuck to some conservative or old traditions. That's the thing. So, of course it's there, you can supplement Gha, and let me come to this stage where you form a stroke, and they covered this half with a head mark and then kept it open like this. This is what you see in Pratihar period. So you can write like this, where this half is covered with a horizontal stroke and they kept the tail little. And if you upturn the whole thing, you get the modern form. Just tilt it. So this tail comes, the other half, of course, this angular, and this is cursive, and connecting both. Suppose I connect this, you turn it, this will come like this. So, and here you see the further stages, beautiful. This will be very close to my explanation, because this, they connected both, this also RMs here, and here also. But here it takes a turn here. Instead of this stroke, Gha. So, course of time it assumes like this. It's very close to that stage. Now, of course, this forum is available. Remaining stages must be there. I will not right now not taking, but when you go through, please try to incorporate the other stages given in Professor book. Next one to Cha. And here it comes with a here the simple stroke. So it's a matter of, it opens up in next stage when you write, they retain this and they open the closing. So these are the changes where in the Gardwala period you find the head mark, a simple horizontal stroke. Cha, of course, we can write, already shown. And this here, either you can put one stroke like this and it's just like this. Maybe one stroke, you put it here and then connecting with one circle where it goes around, connects. So there is not basic thing which has not changed. Right from Mauryan, when you see here, when two semicircle attached like this, and this form which gains during Kushana Kshatrapa like this is almost the same, but for extending the stroke here. There is not much change in this. Ja, as you all know, one stroke is drooping like this, and again another stroke also taking a turn in this Vardhana phase. And here the upper stroke, changes, which continues to be a main feature. One stroke, you form letter like this. This is a very established form in later Nagari inscriptions. It changes. The entire thing, it takes a different turn. Of course, you will have a little prominent head mark in the, that's what early inscriptions retain. And again you have to do like this. Start a stroke from here, little distance, extend it, and then take it like this, where you can connect. The same form in all the stages. Here it is simple stroke. So that's what ultimately they retain this stroke, and this form remains later. The entire thing changes. So this form it takes here, and this becomes a straight stroke. So we can well imagine this little deepening it goes, and then a stroke comes where we connect. Ja. But the change here is very drastic. What we see from Mardana to the Pratiha, it takes altogether a different, it's connect, like now I was telling, similar is the case here with the Ja and the Ja which takes place here. Very different. Ja, it is supposed to be the same, but the forms are not available here. And now also, so I will skip those stages which are not mentioned here in this chart. Ja, Jha, Nga is not there. So we can't just retain the earlier forms. Let us check it later. Coming to the Ta, it is yeah. Yes. And here also this becomes a straight stroke here. Parmar you find little edma, this the features of the Siddhamatrika. So here in fact it comes to regular Nagari, our way of writing. Da in this stage ta is all, again, it must be like this. And course of time, the head mark which comes is not shown, but it is supposed to be like this. And here also in this stage where we have a head mark like this. So remaining, it follows. There is, except adding a stem above and a head mark, which is continued in the remaining stages. And da is written like this, and here it changes here. It's beautiful because that depth, changes. All the same form comes, only here instead of that one stroke, they have one short line, horizontal stroke connecting. Da, in fact, is very much here in this form. I have shown already. It is deeper, but here they have shown in the Chandela record where it is one stroke like this. So there are many gaps here in this, which we'll try to fill it up. Now I told it's a very and here it not in this Pratyahara. This we find in the Paramar. It changes here in this one stroke, another, and a middle stroke goes like this. And in this stage also you find so somewhere this stroke what comes here, they try to connect it, and that's how we write na like this. Because of the seriousness of the subject, that's why many turn to archaeology. I also feel at some point of time should have been archaeologist than the epigraphist. And initial years when many epigraphists join, although they equipped with themselves a doctorate and all, went to universities, many. Of course, including Sarkar, he went to Carmichael, Calcutta, again he came back. But many preferred the academic profession, and it was very easy to acquire a degree coming and sitting in large number of books, material was there, source material. They had their own doctoral and then left for university because the scale was very attractive in those years, beginning. And though teaching was a passion for me, now only after retirement I am getting the opportunity. Of course, I was teaching in the Institute of Archaeology, but this has been my interest, teaching. And here it becomes simple, one stroke, ta, so you can easily assume and tha is and this form continued for many years except this slanting nerve, but it continued as a form and it becomes straight stroke instead of horizontal. This slanting stroke, it becomes straight, and of course like so this continues in the early Nagari form. Only this will be little small and big. So at one point of time we can presume this opens here and then it take a turn like this. This, just imagine this change comes and it turns little like this and forms a stroke. They open up that connecting stroke and turn that. Now it's my way of handling. Da here with a very deep bass. And here onwards you find, though they retained it's not that deep, but they attach a hook, tail, which later continues. So here it's not there. So naturally you can one looped type occurs in course of time. Looped da, we can say, which is what we write at present. And dha is in all stages it continues, but here you can see this one upper stroke and then this. So the upper half, they try to make it like this, and the bigger of course naturally big, and the vertical stroke also goes in this fashion, and they added a, so the stroke here, perhaps it developed into another small curve, and they open this in the next process. Na is a looped na, or I also showed like this, where a small stroke and then this. Yes, it continues as a looped na only. And it changes here slightly with one straight stroke, and they extended this na, which is very close. Even here the thick little head mark, and then the stroke with this. So this looped now at present what we write. This is pa. Here onwards it takes a little that tailed type, pa, tailed pa. You can see tail. And then here they try to cover pa. So course of time not be difficult to imagine this taking the modern, the Devanagari form. So it's this presence of a small tail, it matters in the evolution. Here we didn't have that, but they extended, further they kept extending this small stroke, and later it led to the formation. So the fa, actually here I told you, is formed like this, but actually the remaining forms are not, I have not made it very clear, but should not be difficult for us to imagine a stroke going like this, and then this half, you take it as a second half, a stone coming, and then the second this half turning like this. So exact forms are not clear in this, it's not properly formed. So we will skip that. Ba is, I told you, Va and Ba in earlier stages, it's one and the same. No changes actually. Here it perhaps later to distinguish in Sanskrit, this is a very late development, adding a stroke to differentiate between Ba and Va. That's a very late, I don't know at what point of time we have to keep examining the medieval period, late medieval, because 12th century also Va, Ba they used in the Sanskrit inscriptions. But this to differentiate were used. Where exactly the epigraphical record I am yet to find. Perhaps in the late medieval or somewhere around 15th, 16th century. I have to see even Nandi Nagari also, if this form, what we write at present, is represented. You may also make a note of it when you keep examining some of the inscription where we get that differentiation. Otherwise, it's the same. Bha is written as usual. And here this entire thing changes to this form. From Pratihar to Paramar, when you come, Bha is represented like this. That is one stroke and this sort of perhaps this changes to like this, and then we write this second half, they developed it and retaining this. Ma is written and here comes the looped variety of Ma, where a loop turns So it's that loop, what from here it changes. Tailed ma, you have seen this ma, you have seen in the Vardhaman, and this stroke, they extended, gave a loop which stands even now for writing. And then of course connecting the stroke is a very significant thing. Earlier you find different head marks. Earlier only on this sometime, and you saw the ceiling where they found the head mark also. But in some point of time, they connected both. That's the significant aspect. Either in the, yes, some in Sharda characters you find little different. And this all deep, it goes off, and this, it becomes a simple stroke like this. And at this stage, you find Ya written like this, and both the heads are connecting both the limbs. And here it is little deeper, but they connect both these strokes. So yeah, the way we write should not be when they connect the heads, as well as this loop, it continues as a tail in the subsequent period. Tail, what you see the tail here, the sharp marks, which you find here, it turns as a tail mark. Ra should be very easy, because so this turn, course of time, it takes a turn and a loop here and comes. The loop, this what you feel as a wedge, perhaps it takes a later stage, it turns as a loop and comes. Of course, little deeper, the stroke. So this mark, earlier what as a mark, footmark appears, it progresses, it connects and then turn as a loop, the development. In fact, for law, how the Gupta is very important for us, because this way it later turns in the Vardhamana, no doubt it is retained, but this stroke, small space comes and forms like this. The way they turn this amounts for the further change. This is the Gupta, what we saw yesterday. And here also it is one stroke. You draw a line, horizontal stroke, take it above, and then leave it like this. And here, this, when you see, instead it takes a stroke, little curve, like this. So the space, get again as a curve. This is a very important stage what you see here, just like this, and then see. And further, simple stroke where you add like this. So it may not be beyond our imagination to see right like this. Va is written with a stroke. Va and ba are no differentiation, so I not again keep writing. All these stages are same. And the sha is one stroke, looped sha, or this knot, what they call, there is some, Dani uses one expression, right now, block or something. He has a particular term to express this. Okay, from this you see the change here. One stroke. See this change here. This stroke is there. Everything it gets curved. In this form, sha, and the change occurs here where one short stem connecting like this. So ultimately it takes a loop, what we write. So you see the change here. This takes, sheds all the angularities, it becomes cursive, and here the middle stroke is connected, and then the change comes, this cursive stroke becomes straight vertical, and the entire form merges with this and changes. Shannukasha. For the first time you find a head mark here, like this. And in this form, you find like this, and a cross stroke goes like this, one. And further it assumes a form in this, where you connect and a stroke goes. So it is quite possible, easy for us to understand how Sha is written and this stroke comes. This, in fact, the horizontal stroke which you observe right from the Kushan, Kshatrapa, somewhere or other it continues and that remains a part of the letter. And Sa here the stroke so when we write like this, the first half remains like this and takes a loop here. This turns into a loop and stands like this, and this gets disconnected, or it becomes a horizontal stroke for us, and we derive like this. Fortunately, didn't. It's also bored, I think. The board is getting bored. Enough of your writing. Stop, I am tired. सुबह से बहुत कर रहे हैं, अब बंद करो, बता रहे हो. मैं टच नहीं किया, ऐसे गिर गए. मैं बिफोर स्टार्टिंग. टूट गया क्या? बंद किया ना? क्या है? काफ़ी टी
काफी बना के ला के तो
नहीं थोड़ा गरम गरम लाओ थोड़ा सेंटर का
ये चलेगा सर।
सब मिल गए ना पार्ट्स
हाँ चल जाएगा काम। कुछ नहीं होगा, कुछ नहीं, निकाल देगा।
हाँ सपोर्ट
नहीं बस चलिए कोई छोड़ दें। फोटोग्राफ करके ये करके इसी में दिखाएंगे। मैं खड़े होके लिखने का दिक्कत हो रहा है। सो जो वोवेल साइंस है और शारदा स्क्रिप्ट है इसी के ऊपर लेजर में दिखाता हूँ। आई थिंक आई फील एग्जॉस्टेड, आई कांट स्टैंड कीप राइटिंग, आई फील वीक, नहीं हो रहा है। सो टाइम भी कम है अलग अलग दिखाने का। सो द रिमेनिंग पोर्शन विल द वोवेल साइंस। इसको फोटो आप ये लाओ, ये बुलाइए। वैसे तो ब्रेक दे दिया। एंड वन फॉरम लास्ट आई विल ट्राई टू कनेक्ट, बाद में कर दीजिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, अभी कनेक्ट कीजिए। वो एक ये पूरा होने दो, एक लेटर और बचा है वो उसको दिखाएंगे। सो हाँ, so you can easily imagine how Ha takes from this loop, it turns and gets a form like this. So this with this The remaining part of the vowel sign, I'll try to explain there, and the Sharda script also. It will be, right. So we can take a break for 10 minutes and then assemble, so that the remaining part I can show on the screen. ये जो फोटो करके इसमें दिखाएंगे।
जी जी।
ये बैठिए, इधर आइए। ये खड़े होके लिखना मुश्किल है। ये और ये इसके बाद ये सब
तो पूरे को सर।
हाँ पूरा ये तो हो गया। ये वोवेल साइंस लिखिए, उसके बाद शारदा स्क्रिप्ट देता हूँ अभी। ये हो गया।
कंटिन्यू कर दो सर,
हम्म?
कंटिन्यू कर दो।
ये शारदा के बाद दिखाएंगे। So, we will continue with the unclear? Okay. So the vowel signs. We will see now the vowels and consonants evolution we have seen right from Vardhaman, Vardhana dynasty up to Chandela and Gahadwalas. And these are the signs, you find. And in the Vardhana period, as we have seen in the morning also in the Siddhamatrika characters, how a stroke is attached on the top to derive the length, A sign. And here subsequently, next phase during the Pratihar inscriptions, these are the things you find. This almost look like our modern Ra, the way we write now. And Ta, you find the stroke is taken upwards. And this looped Ma, these are the few letters taken from the Pratihar inscriptions. So, it's not one dynasty. As earlier we have seen Kushan, Akshatrapa, a specific dynasty. Here we are taking a range nearly of 700 years. That is from 7th to 12th, 600 years or so. So they represent different dynasties and where they employed Nagari script in different regions. So it's but natural, some variations you see in there, but there is a common trend seen in the evolution. So these are the way you find this is Ta, Ma, this looped Ma, and a stroke is attached here, and the Ka. So these are the A signs. And during Parmara period, Ta, Pa, Ja, these lengthening signs I have tried to show. Only example, see, you can't take all the dynasty, all the vowel signs, is not possible. Only to show you how during different dynasties, the Nagari when they employed for their inscription, you find the usage. Similarly, Vardhana, Pratihar, E sign. Now let's come to the E sign, and you find the Va, and as you have seen in the morning, how vowel signs, you find the flourishes. E sign, it's like this, and during Pratihar period, E sign, C, E, something like that, and T, E sign, which is almost the way we write now. When you see except the first stage, during Vardhana phase, it's slightly different, and then subsequent period you find the same usage. E sign, that is vowel matra, E, you find E sign here, Shri, Ni, Shri, and again T. So you find the usages like this. U sign, where you extend a stroke here, attach a small footmark like thing, that is U sign. And Nu, Na plus U sign, Ga plus U sign, Gu, Tu, Mu, Nu, like that. and this looped ma during Pratihara period, it's the U sign what we attach at present. We write it is of similar fashion during Pratihar, Paramar, and U sign is like this. Length, that is Bhumi, when you want to mention, you find the U sign here, Du, and these are R sign. Bru, Gru, Bru, Kru, like that. And the A sign, and the Au sign, all these, the basic principle is same, more or less what you have seen in the morning session with regard to the Siddhamatrika. Further changes, it tends towards simplification during the remaining part of the Nagari development. ये हो गया, इतना correct हो गया. Now we can go to Sharda. There is one more, is there? One minute.
Which one's it? Just
वही वो देखा. So this there are a lot of ways to approach the evolution of the Sharda script, and this I told you one of the three we have just seen the early Nagari, which is also further continuation of the around end of 8th century. We find the three major scripts coming. One is the early Nagari, another is Sharda script, and Proto-Bengali. Proto-Bengali I am not dealing right now because of paucity of time and other reasons. Yes, why even the Nagari, its practicality, its advantage, all you know. Whether to study inscription or manuscripts, knowledge of calligraphy of early Nagari is very important next to the Brahmi. So you have large number of inscription. That's why I try to give a very comprehensive outlook about the progression of Nagari script, early Nagari. Now, when we see this Sharda, everything I told, we, in fact, Nagari also, we have to trace it to Brahmi, any script for that matter, but the stages become more and more. In fact, if we have to trace from all the stages, we have to keep showing. But here, for convenience sake, I have taken 3 to 5 steps to show the development of Sharda script. It's also equally important. And I told 2 books in the course of my talk. One is the corpus inscriptions by
corpus inscriptions by Kaul Diambi, and another, a bigger edition brought out by IGNCA. Both will be of extreme use. And in the morning also I was referring to two books, especially the Antiquities of Chamba State by Fogel and Chabra in 2 volumes. The first volume deals with the stone inscriptions, and the second with regard to the copper plate. The first volume covers all the stone inscriptions found in the Himachal area, where also predominantly you find the use of Sharda script, Takri and Devashesha. So these are the subsidiaries, the major being the Sharda script. So here I have tried to show how from early Brahmi, these are the stages. I will not try to show this may be the first 2 stages represent this is the Shungan phase you can take, or this one early Brahmi. This also of course I have taken to represent the Kshatrapa or phase, and the next stage followed by Vardhana, and then the Sharda script. So this is the vowel A written in these stages. You can try to, the same will be given for you for practicing. You may just see, later on you may try to practice. You know, it's very difficult every time to, when we deal with a large number of scripts and varieties, it's always difficult to put it on the board. If it spreads over a different period of time, we can do this job conveniently and comfortably, but I am unable to write it, the whole thing. So just remaining part I want to show. And you find this stroke here, and then here, these 2 stages not seen, but for lengthening sign, they attach a hook here instead of A Dirgha, and this you find in later Yashodharman and some inscriptions also, but in Siddhamatrika and in Sharda script, you find 1 stroke with a slight curve and at a horizontal stroke covering both the limbs and a hook below. So and here you see the apex is facing downwards in one of the inscription, and this Kshatrapa face and Gupta, and further in the next stage you see this vowel E, which is very close to it is like Nagari. You find this vowel E is written here. And here also in this stage you find a horizontal vertical stroke with the 2 dots on either side here. And vowel Vu, in fact this is the Kshatrapa phase, where the stroke is longer, the vertical stroke, and this is a horizontal shorter stroke with a hook-like thing, and it turns, it takes a turn here. You see the form U, and this is the Sharda script form U is written. Vowel A, I am just referring to the previous stage where it is written like this, and this is in the Sharda script. Ka, and this footmark played a very important role. I told in how
in the progression of Nagari script. And here too you find it is connected like this, and the stroke ends here. Ka, kha. This is what I am trying to show. Here is his immediate predecessor, Siddhamatrika, and then the last stage here, all these strokes, you can practice only this much. To cull out, for practicing Siddhamatrika, you will not go through the whole process. You can focus on the last stage, you make a separate list, preferably compare with for more perfection. Still, I recommend kindly see the Kaul Diambi's book. That's, I am repeatedly telling, the IGNCA publication is a quite long title, unable to get it, but it's very useful. And extensively he has given all the paleographical aspects of the Sharda's development of different centuries. So for practicing, you take the last stage and make a list and do this. This is immediate stage here. I am not going to the earlier phase unnecessarily, which Kshatrapa individually we have taken and practiced and tried to learn. But here only to connect it, to connect the Sharda script, I am trying to give its another very important stages in its evolution. So this Dirgha, one vertical stroke and dots on either side here, and this is how the vowel U is written. A, you find a tail here above, some extension. So these are the, and Ka, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha and Cha. Of course they are so close, only Proto-Bengali seems to be little different than these either Nagari or Sharda script. So next series of consonants here, Ta, and here you see the Ta is formed with one more stroke above. Ta, Tha, Da, very different here. Please make note, it's difficult to write, and hope after this session I will sit calmly and try to check with our conveners and see the charts are given so that it will be transferred to you in course of time today or tomorrow. But already then and there they have done, but some today what we have done, I think it has not reached you many things, but I will find out, check with my charts and see that they are taken and given. So you just observe here, it's difficult for you to write down right now, but here when I am pointing this, you can see here, this is Da, Ta, Tha, Da, Ta, Tha, Da, Dha. See how it is formed here, with a loop on the left side, with a curve, Da, Dha, La. It's a similar what we have seen in the Gupta. It's of similar type, and it is two varieties of La you find. yeah, and ta, this is the normal variety, and this is looped ta, looped ta. Tha, which makes a departure in this, and this I showed you, this continues in this Sharda. The last phase is in detail, especially with regard to the formation of Na. He has given his own expressions that you can see when you read the introduction. Yes. Ta, tha, da, tha, da, dha. Dha, I told you, it becomes elliptical in shape, and na, these are all this looped na, and it's how it is written in the, like bha, Mauryan, Gupta, bha, it is written like this. La, pa, pha, ba, bha. So for practicing, you take this last stage only and make a separate chart. Yes, it is not enough unless you read some books along with this. See, here only you will have very basic idea. Unless you read the books connected with the particular script, you have to gain more knowledge on this. So this ma, right from ma, and this is the immediate stage. Morning I was discussing about the Siddhamatrika characters. Ma, and this is how it's written, and tripartite ya. And this you can note here, how from tripartite it changes to bipartite in this phase. Okay, that is a Siddhamatrika. So every place that I have tried to show the Siddhamatrika, either in the Nagari or in the Sharda script, it's very essential. This is ya, ra, la. This is how it's very easy. Once the difficulty post-Gupta period is very easy for learning. Only the Gupta with its varieties, if you thoroughly practice, the next stage all easy for understanding. Ya, ra, la, va, sha. This is Shankara Shah, just like a box is written with a tail below, and Shanmukha Shah with a small head mark, a stroke on the left limb, Sha, Sha, Sa, Ha. I have some more, I thought we can devote, I will come to this again after seeing some early
See this, the earliest. Now, I want to call it a day as far as the script learning is concerned. We will conclude it with that, because to go with the Proto-Bengali, it's a very difficult task. Little difference is there. I can place together the early Nagari and Sharda, they are very close. Proto-Bengali is little different, and it becomes too much also right now to take all the things. So we will keep it pending for some other time. In fact, I don't have very authentic chart also for Proto-Bengali. Like this, I have not devoted much time to understand. So I also need some sort of brush up to take it. We will do this next time. Anyway, now the remaining time, for some time, we will try to decipher these things. Now I think start. Tena Bhagavatena Gaja. This is Gajayana. And this the earliest Sanskrit inscription I have not seen at present preserved in the Udaipur Museum. You have Nagari inscription also of the same version, and it's very, very important, not only from the early Brahmi characters, about the contents, the Vaishnavism, and the reference to certain things are very important. When you see the original inscription also, the space, individually they have tried to give space and write, and have tried to maintain the same. Yeah. Tena Gajayana Gajayanena Parashari. Para, this serpentine Ra is there. Parashari Putrena. Sa na Bhagavabhya. What is this? आप तो टेक्स्ट तो पढ़ा होगा एमए में, गोशुंडी इंस्क्रिप्शन नहीं पढ़ा है. Normally it's very important. Bhagavabhya संकर्षण. ये दो देखते हैं ना इधर, सुपरस्क्रिप्ट आगे ऊपर संकर्षण. यस. Vasudevabhya. Vasudevebhyo. Here is their matra on either side. Vasudevabhyo. Bhya. What is this? Two strokes. Puja. Puja Shila. Puja Shila Prakare. Puja Shila Prakare Narayana Vataka. It's very important. Perhaps, it throws light on the architecture, how the genesis of the temple might have been there when the regular, this of first century common era or the end of first century BC, it speaks of a single cell. Earlier, I think the origin lied with the temple where a single cell existed, and later it developed. So this, according to me, throws light on the system, the architecture that might have prevailed, where they had either a Shila of Narayana or whatever, and a stone enclosure, Shila Vataka. Vatika is a garden, and here it is of stone, where they have made a cell. You find some, either in the form of some sculpture or some thing which represents Lord Narayana. And Narayana also, for the first time it occurs. And these are equally important. Much earlier, of course, what we have at Malha, that Vishnu, and then Vrishnis, it's a very famous cult. The Pancha, the five important Vrishni. So that's why I told Balabhadra Vasudeva, Sankarshana Vasudeva. These are very famous. And perhaps here we have this first occurrence of Narayana. Okay, that is another aspect. Here I want you to follow paleographical aspects. I am not to teach the historical or its religious significance. Yes, that is there. But this importance as a Sanskrit inscription with, of course, some Prakrit influence. Anyway, this is the another important Ayodhya inscription of Dhanadeva. See here, the Ka and two-stroke going Kosala, Kosaladhipena. Kosaladhipena Dvirashwamedha Yajina. Dvirashwamedha Yajina Senapatehe. Senapatehe. Of course, and there is some, I copy thoda. इसका है सेनापते है. What is this? Correct. Pushyamitrasya. Shanmukasha plus tripartite. Yeah. Pushyamitrasya. Shasthana. That is, he is sixth in that line. Shasthana. Kaushikya Putrena. Kaushiki. Kaushiki. Kaushiki Putrena Dhana. Something Dhana Devena. Dhanadeva. Dhanadev. Dharma Rajya. This is Dha. And you see the superscript. Dharma Rajya Pitu. Dharma Rajya. We have that Dharma Maharaja, like that. Dharma Rajya Pitu. Falgu Devasya. Can you see this Fa? Falgu. La plus Gu. La plus Ga. Falgu Devasya Ketanam. Ketanam. Ketana is a temple, small structure. Ketanam Karitaha. Okay. I think we tried earlier, no? ये हो गया क्या? महाराजस्य कनिष्कस्य संवत्सर, that is Samvat 3, Hemanta Paksha 3. Anyway, due to paucity of time, I couldn't go with the eras, dates, numerals. Anyway, that you can read and understand. It's very difficult to accommodate all the things. इवसा एताया पूर्वाये, एताये पूर्वाये भिक्षुस्य. Can you see? This is bha, kushal, bha ka plus sha, ksha, kshatriya ksha, bhikshusya pushya. Pa length here, pushya vriddhisya, pushya vriddhisya sadvi vihare, sadvi, this is vihara, viharisya bhikshusya. You are following? Bhikshusya balasya, bhikshusya balasya getika, there getika something is there, gehika, gehitakasya, grehitakasya bodhisattva. See here, bodhi, like television antenna. Bodhisattva, bodhisattva chhatrayashti, chhatra, chhatrayashti cha क्या? प्रतिष्ठापिता, प्रतिष्ठापिता. Varanasi is from Varanasi. See, first Varanasi where we got? Yesterday I was in my talk, you know. Yes. Correct. So, Varanasi Bhagavato Chakramesa Mahita Mita. This is Mata, sorry. Saha Mata Piti He. This is thoda Piti He Saha Upadhyaya, correct. Upadhyaya che sadhye vihare, or something. Anyway, some I copy, when we copy to copy, when we make, you know, some confusion arises. But this gives a very good picture. That's what every day you start writing on I-copy. Keep the book of Bharatiya Prachina Lipimala or Sivaram Murthy's book. You start from Girnar or whatever, Ashok, early Brahmi, and then stages. Each one day if you write one I-copy, within a few days you would have learned many things. And then you can go to the original inscription, make your own I-copy, till you get that hold over the subject. आप उसी से I-copy practice कीजिए. क्लियर है ना? क्लियर कहाँ नहीं, कहीं नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि कुछ इंस्क्रिप्शंस है बहुत इंटैक्ट है, अच्छा है. मोस्ट ऑफ द इंस्क्रिप्शन इधर डिफेस हो गया, जब मिलेगा तो मिल सकते हैं. अभी नहीं क्लियर, नहीं क्लियर तो काफी देर आर मेनी, बट उसको ढूंढना पड़ेगा.
साइट पे जाकर के कर सकते हैं. म्यूजियम में इंस्क्रिप्शन है, उनको भी बैठ करके कॉपी प्रैक्टिस करिए.
इसीलिए जो है ना, ये ओरिजिनल आप कुछ शिलालेख मिलते हैं. दैट्स वाई टू अक्वेंट विद द फॉर्म, इवन आई एम कन्विंस्ड थोड़ा. That's why earlier scholars, they started writing iCopy for learners. So nothing like iCopy to get a clear picture of the original inscription. क्योंकि जब वो लिखते हैं, they correct the form and write because they know the subject. And you are a beginner, when you see a damaged inscription, इधर उधर worn out हो गया, fragmentary है, you lose interest in that. That's what in my teaching also I have three approach. One to show the iCopy, again some facsimile of the inscription, and then the original inscription. ये तीन stage में करना चाहिए, but due to time, if I take only the early Brahmi, I would have shown all the stages. But we are covering many places, many areas in the writing. So naturally time is a big issue. We can't go in all the different varieties. Yes, if we do only some phase, then all the three can be covered. That is iCopy, again some, what is it, I should say the facsimile from the good, that is a stamp page copy, and the original inscription. If it is, and you Google it, normally you get sometime very good original inscription kept in different museum also, but उसको थोड़ा ढूंढना पड़ता है. मिल जाएगा. ओके. महाराजस्य राजातिराजस्य देवपुत्रस्य पाहिक नहीं शाही कनिष्कस्य संवत्सरा. दिस द डेट हियर. दिवसे एतस्य, this etasya purva, you see a conjunct letter and the matra like superscript, still purva. I was teaching some conjunct letters, you can see here purva e arya dehikiye, to gana wo arya rag something is there, ye to कुला गणी जे आर्य बुद्ध शिरिष्य श्रेष्ठी आर्य सनिकस्य भगिनी आर्य. So just you may be able to read entire thing, or थोड़ा कोशिश रखना चाहिए. It's not that you read each and everything. And when you start reading, even deciphering inscription, don't think you have to go always with the first line. इधर उधर कुछ समझाए तो उसको टेक्स्ट पहले कर दीजिए. मे बी 4th और 5th लाइन यू मे मेक ए टेक्स्ट, उसको पहले लिखिए. देन स्लोली वेल एवर यू आर क्लियर यू कैन डिसाइफर, बट डोंट गेट स्टक ऑलवेज इन द फर्स्ट लाइन. उसको देखते रहिए. जब आपको नेक्स्ट स्टेज इजी रहेगा 4th और 5th और वॉट एवर, वो लाइन नंबर लगा के आप ट्रांसक्राइब कीजिए. Otherwise you will be stuck there only, you will not move further. एक आध लाइन पढ़ने के बाद समझेगा. And this our epigraphists, I have seen, like Dr. Ramesh and others, they had their own way of dealing. Again, this is Namo. Namo Arahato Vardhamanasya. You can read easily. Namo Arahato Vardhamanasya Goti Putrasya Potha Yashasa. Po. This is A and this is O. Potha Yashasa कालवाद वालसा कोशिकीये सिमित्राये आगा आयाग पटो पूजा पूजाये. Ladies, like this. महात्मनो, see here, महाता plus ma, महात्मनो वदिनिक कारितो प्रयत भगवा कोशिकी पुत्रेण, like that. Ashwavari, see here, this is a, that is Shankarsha plus va. Ashwavari bodhaya bodhayatha na bhagavato. So simultaneously, to gain knowledge, you can join the Pali course of Prakrit, which a different university given. And even prior to that, if you want to have some Sanskrit, many open either certificate course. Here you need a language to manage, to understand. So those who feel that they don't have that language background, प्लीज ज्वाइन सम कोर्स फॉर संस्कृत. एक तरफ ये प्रैक्टिस कीजिए सो दैट आपको ये समझना चाहिए प्राकृत भाषा में है, कहाँ कहाँ इसको स्पेस ये पढ़ना चाहिए, ब्रेक करके पढ़ना है, वेदर इट इज प्राकृत संस्कृत. जब प्रॉपर वो स्प्लिट करेंगे देन यू कैन मेक आउट द मीनिंग प्रॉपरली, अदरवाइज इट इज डिफिकल्ट. फर्स्ट स्टेज इज लर्निंग स्क्रिप्ट, देन धीरे धीरे थोड़ा संस्कृत तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट, एनी फॉर एनी लैंग्वेज. Sanskrit, here the university will be offering some course, open university, or you try to gain for 3 months or 6 months. So then you can, yes, language is essential. And right from beginning I was telling, with regard to the Shunga, there is one book which is a very essential. What is that book? Barhut inscriptions, volume, CA volume 2, part 2. हम बोल रहे थे इसको, दिस इज द फैसिमिली फ्रॉम दैट. बहुत छोटा छोटा इंस्क्रिप्शन है इन शुंग पीरियड का. ये बहुत इजी है. देखिए ये देखिए, ये वेद वेद वेदिसा वासिठी या वेली में, और
Moragiri. Moragiri, you can easy. Moragira Jata. Jata mitasa danam. Everywhere, it ends with danam, danam. And very simple, you can practice. Vasukasa bhariyaya. All prakrit. Bharyaya. Bharyaya. Vedisa ayamaya danam. Pusadataye. Pushyadataye. See here. Pusadataye na garika. Garikaya bichuni. See, either it comes bichuni or bhikkuni. It is bhikshuni. Buddhist nun. See here, bichuniye danam. So, tabodanam here, tabodanam. So there are like this hundreds of small inscriptions with a text given. So especially the Mauryan next stage, Shunga Brahmi, which you have learned, ये थोड़ा book पहले पढ़ना चाहिए. That's what today don't think of the either the development Nagari or Sharda. एक तरफ रखिए. Now after the course tomorrow or day after tomorrow onwards, पहले Mauryan से जाइए. I have most of the text I have seen, they are perfect. But don't leave that you have picked up. You will feel that you have picked up. But after next week, it will be new to you. So, after this, in this, whatever taught this, I was telling yesterday, first 1 week or 2 weeks to practice only Mauryan. Then Shunga आइए, and this can spread over 2 to 3 months. जब साथ में जो वर्क्स है, DC सरकार का जो सेलेक्ट इंस्क्रिप्शंस है, उस तरह वर्क भी पढ़ना चाहिए. And I was two eyes of this one. No? One is the Indian epigraphy by DC सरकार. वो भी एक पेज और 2-3 पेज पढ़ना चाहिए. Many minimum. और Indian calligraphy by दानी. ये दोनों बुक रोज कुछ 3 पेज 4 पेज रोज पढ़ना चाहिए. So that's what your seriousness to learn the subject. Otherwise it will be again something. What the effort we have put in this last 1 week or 5 to 6 days, chala jayega. See, connection. See, you have to keep reading whether, as he was telling, he is teaching. This will be very useful for him. What I tell, he can convey the same things to his students. There is a method to learn. And this we only with vast experience in the field can advise you. Others, they don't know. So practice. बड़ा बुक रखिए, थोड़ा जेल पेन लीजिए. Don't write all this. सही फॉर्म नहीं मिलेगा, especially for writing. So Mathura, anyway, Swamisya, Mahakshatrapasya, Shundasasya, Ganjavarasya, Brahmanasya, like this it goes, the text. And this is very unique inscription from the point of view of calligraphy also and Sanskrit. See, देखिए इधर कितना अच्छा बना है. This all, if you make it still beautiful, Swamisya, and the letters, the pen technique. This is very important for us. Swamisya, Mahakshatrapasya, Sa plus U sign, Shundasasya, Ganjavarasya, Brahmanasya, Shegravasa Gotrasya, Mula Vasusya, Bharyaye Vasusya Matari. कोशिकीये, पुष्क, ले पाक्षकीये, this is pa plus a, दीर्घ, पाक्षकाये कारितो पुष्करिणीः ima. Once you know what happened, our Dr. Ramesh, when he was there, he was examining some copper plate. I had just joined someone. So he called me, Ravi Shankar, you please note down the text. He was just reading like a newspaper. The paper, of course, the familiarity of the script and the commonality of certain verses, he was very speed. He was on a way. I couldn't follow. Later I saw it's very difficult for me to write. And he kept repairing. At that time, another 2-3 assistants had joined. He called each one and gave dictation. I was amazed. Just like newspaper is reading. A शासन ऐसे पढ़ सकते हैं हम सोच रहे थे. Very fast. And because the command over the language, Sanskrit, and the command over the script, and the little, the formal portion है ना, ये same होता है. Because of reading, आपको 10 शिलालेख दे पढ़ने के बाद, you will be very fast. आराम से, you would have got registered the forms, you will go fast in that. How much you read, how much time you give is important. So, like this, he was very fast in his decipherment. Next, oh sorry. This I was referring Aeran inscription of Samudragupta. While I was the same inscription has both box-headed and nail-headed. ये देखिए नीचे ऊपर जो है इसका nail head है इधर, ओके? धनांतक तुष्टिकोपतुल्यः. And this is in the Aeran inscription of Samudragupta. You can detailedly read later. But उसी में दोनों है forms. The above first line is in nail-headed characters, and the below yasya ripascha jito ishnata ishtita, something is there. Paritrasanti, paritrasanti. So this is in box-headed. It's a very, and the monumental type, bill-said inscription of Kumaragupta, इसी कितना बड़ा बना है. Similarly, when you see the Mehrauli pillar, उनका अलग है. The head marks employed, in the Gupta inscription of wide range, उसको थोड़ा आप अलग ही पढ़ना चाहिए. Calligraphy, of course, they have dealt, but you can make a further detailed study of them, especially with regard to the bill-said inscription, Mehrauli, and what is that, Karamdanda, so many. If you see the CI volume, just go through the plates and note down what are the, how different they are, known from different places. And brief calligraphical notes to diya for each inscription, what's the variety, Central Indian variety, many such things are there. Reading you have to do. You should be a voracious reader for this. As I told, epigraphy is a multidisciplinary subject. आपको Sanskrit भी होना चाहिए, historical background and the mythology and the ephemeris. If all put together, you will be a very sound epigraphist, so that you can interpret things in a proper way. As much knowledge you have, that helps you. Suppose you get some rare instance where
some comparison comes. If you don't know that anecdote connect is either in the Ramayana or Mahabharata, which is occurs in particular inscription, you cannot relate it. King is compared to that, is some instance. So you need a background of the Puranas and the epics. When it turns philosophical, even Upanishads, many things. See, it's a very rich area, but history also required. So this is the box-headed character for Pravarasena, Vakataka. Yesterday, as you know, during our talk on the epigraphical wealth of the Chhattisgarh, there are so many copper plates written in beautiful manuscript. Normally, this portion, we give regularly to our Institute of Archaeology students. वो पढ़ सकते हैं इसीलिए वाकाटक ललामस्य, देखिए नीचे जो सील में मिलते हैं, वाकाटक ललामस्य क्रम प्राप्त नृपश्रियः राज्ञा प्रवरसेनस्य शासनम रिपुशासनम. इवन पढ़ते पढ़ते हमको फेमिलियरिटी आ गया ऑटोमेटिकली. हम कई बार देखते हैं ना, ये जो स्टूडेंट्स लोग ये टेक्स्ट बाय रोट, even before reading they read the entire text. I am trying to point out some calligraphy aspect. उनको टेक्स्ट मालूम है, इसीलिए जल्दी they say whether some already some inscriptions, they know the text well. When explaining each word or letter to give, but they know the text, they tell very fast. Like this. Vakataka lalavasya. See here the krama praptan ripashriyah ragya pravarasenasya shasanam ripushasanam. So once you know the text very well, even when you get yasya yasya yada bhumi tata tasya tasya tada phalam, you know the text. So automatically you can recite all the remaining 3 or 4 verses on your own. This is the Allahabad pillar inscription, a portion. See here, Maharaja Shri Guptasya, Gupta Pautrasya, Maharaja Shri Ghatotkacha Pautrasya, yeah, Pautrasya Maharajadhiraja Shri Chandragupta. See here, Shri Chandragupta Putrasya. Lichavi, I was telling, Licha, double cha, conjunction I was explaining yesterday. Lichavi Dauhitrasya. Mahadevya Kumaradevya, Mahadevya Kumaradevyam Mutpannaha, born to that, Utpanna. Mutpannasya Maharajadhirajashri Samudraguptasya. See, Samudraguptasya Sarva Prithvi Vijaya Janito Daya Vyaptani Khila Ani Nikhila Avani Nam Kirti Mitra Stita Dashapati Bhagava something is there. Mukha Vicharana Achakshana, like this. Ima Bhuvo. So you have already chart with you. Again, this is from either Shivram Murthy or Ojha. you can keep the chart, decipher. So iCopy, similarly if you see the original Allahabad, आप बंद करके रखेंगे. It's very difficult. So उसको थोड़ा iCopy से familiarize कीजिए, because there are many inscriptions which are disturbed, distorted and मुश्किल, थोड़ा direct to access. फोटोग्राफ से और टेक्स्ट रख के then you can go to the original photographs. Yes, there are very good inscriptions are there intact. When you go to Mathura, when you visit different museums, थोड़ा देखिए गैलरी में कैसे you can take your own good photographs. ग्वालियर में है, अच्छा है म्यूजियम, like this. Okay, so I think even iCopy we have touched on various aspects, and I think we will conclude now. Right now with this, we have all 6 days. I thank all of you for your patience and listening. We have our again a friend with us to
थैंक यू सर.
thank you.
आप सबको मेरा नमस्कार. बीच में फील्ड वर्क के कारण मैं 2 दिन लगातार आप लोगों के साथ नहीं रह पाया, लेकिन मेरा सौभाग्य है कि फिर से मैं जुड़ गया हूँ और समय निकाल करके मैंने चैनल पे लगातार देखा, फॉलो किया इस प्रोग्राम को. और जैसा कि आज अभी के सेशन में हम लोगों ने नागरी और नागरी के जो अलग अलग स्वरूप हैं, काल सापेक्ष और डायनेस्टी के सापेक्ष, उनके अक्षरों के स्वरूप में विविधता और उनकी विशेषता, इन दोनों को बहुत अच्छे तरीके से सर ने हमको समझाया. ये लगभग जो समय है 7वीं शताब्दी से लेकर 12वीं शताब्दी तक, पूर्व मध्यकाल से लेकर मध्यकाल तक का, और उसके थोड़ा पहले जो अर्ली मिडिवल पीरियड में या लेट गुप्ता फेज में अगर हम बात करते हैं, नेल हेडेड या बॉक्स हेडेड वेराइटी, तो थोड़ा सा जब भी हम आगे बढ़ते हैं, हर दिन एक एक दिन हमारा आगे निकल रहा है, तो थोड़ा पीछे जा कर के हमको उसको रिकॉल करते रहना चाहिए. जो इन्फॉर्मेशन यहाँ पे हमको मिल रही है तो वो आपको बहुत मदद करती है. फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ दिन पहले हम ब्राह्मी का प्रैक्टिस कर रहे थे. कोई भी स्क्रिप्ट जो बाद में बहुत सारे इसकी वेराइटीज़ आई, उनका अगर आपको सही तरीके से, जिसमें देखिए सर ने बताया ये बहुत वास्ट है, आप अकेले सारे स्क्रिप्ट में मास्टर नहीं हो सकते कभी भी. तो ये पहले तय करना होगा कि हम आखिर ये सीख क्यों रहे हैं, हमारा एरिया ऑफ स्पेशलाइजेशन क्या है, हमको किस स्क्रिप्ट, किस लैंग्वेज पे फोकस करना है. आप में से कुछ लोग पढ़ा रहे हैं कॉलेज यूनिवर्सिटी में, कुछ लोग रिसर्च कर रहे हैं इस फील्ड में, कुछ लोग जो संस्कृत में रिसर्च कर रहे हैं या संस्कृत भाषा का अध्ययन कर रहे हैं. उनको ये तय करना होगा कि आखिर हम ये अभिलेख और पुरालिपि सीख क्यों रहे हैं. एक बार आप यह तय कर लेंगे तो आपको फिर ये स्पष्ट हो जाएगा कि आपको ब्राह्मी सीखने के बाद, ब्राह्मी का अच्छा अभ्यास करने के बाद कहाँ से पकड़ना है, कहाँ से आगे बढ़ना है. और एकाएक हम जैसे सर बता रहे थे कि जो बड़े स्कॉलर हैं, रोज़ उनका रेगुलर प्रैक्टिस होता है, वो न्यूज़पेपर की तरह पढ़ सकते हैं, आप और हम नहीं पढ़ सकते. उसके लिए क्या करना होगा कि लगातार अभ्यास. ये 7 दिन तो केवल जो है एक आप लोगों को मार्गदर्शन देने के लिए, एक आधार प्रदान करने के लिए यह आयोजन किया गया. इसके बाद इसको कंटिन्यू बनाए रखना आपकी जिम्मेदारी है. सर के द्वारा जो भी अभ्यास के लिए, स्टडी के लिए मटेरियल सजेस्ट किया जा रहा है, वो बराबर हम व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में शेयर कर रहे हैं. आप उस पे अभ्यास जारी रखिए. और अभ्यास जारी रखने के पहले रैंडम प्रैक्टिस नहीं करना है. आपको तय कर लेना है कि आपको किस फील्ड में वेल वर्स्ड होना है. जब ये आप तय कर लेंगे, आप लगातार उसमें करते रहेंगे, तो डेफिनेटली आपको उसमें मास्टरी जो है वो हासिल हो जाएगी। होता क्या है कि उदाहरण के लिए जब हम कॉपर प्लेट की ही बात करते हैं, कॉपर प्लेट एक पर्टिकुलर ड्राफ्ट होता है। तो कोई भी चीज़, शासनादेश है, दान पत्र है, ताम्रपत्र है, उसका अपना एक ड्राफ्टिंग है। उस ड्राफ्टिंग को अगर आप समझ गए उस पीरियड का, तो हर कॉपर प्लेट में बाकी चीज़ें जो स्वस्ति वचन है या बाद में शाप आशीर्वाद वाले जो श्लोक हैं, उनको छोड़ करके बीच में कुछ नए पर्सन नेम, कुछ नए प्लेस नेम, कोई नया इवेंट, कोई नया डोनेशन प्लेस नेम, ये आएगा, वो नया इन्फॉर्मेशन होगा। बाकी पूरा का पूरा जो ड्राफ्ट है वही है। तो अगर आप लगातार 1, 2, 3 कॉपर प्लेट पढ़े, पांडुवंशी पीरियड का, शरभपुरिया पीरियड का, कलचुरी पीरियड का, तो उस पीरियड का कोई भी नया चीज़ आपके सामने आता है तो आप फटाफट उसको समझने लगते हैं। यही बात स्टोन इंस्क्रिप्शन में भी होती है। इनकी अपनी एक ड्राफ्टिंग की स्टाइल है, शैली है हर पीरियड का। तो उसको समझना जरूरी है कि हम जिस पीरियड के स्टोन इंस्क्रिप्शन या कॉपर प्लेट को अपने सामने रख रहे हैं पढ़ने के लिए, तो पहले जो है वो जीनियोलॉजी स्टार्ट होगी, ओम सिद्धम स्वस्ति के साथ जीनियोलॉजी स्टार्ट होगी, वंशावली का परिचय दिया जाएगा, प्रत्येक राजाओं की उपलब्धियों का जिक्र किया जाएगा, और लास्ट में उस राजा का नाम आएगा जिसने वो प्रशस्ति लिखवा रहा है, जिसके काल में वो प्रशस्ति लिखी जा रही है, और किस अवसर पे, किस आयोजन पे, किस निमित्त वो अभिलेख जो है लिखा जा रहा है, ये घटना उसमें आएगी। तो ये एक ड्राफ्टिंग का तरीका है। इस ड्राफ्टिंग को अगर हम समझ लेते हैं बढ़िया से, तो फिर धीरे धीरे हमको ज़्यादा समय नहीं देना पड़ता। शुरू में तो क्या करना पड़ेगा कि जैसे इंस्क्रिप्शन लेके बैठे, तो सबसे पहले हमने जो ककहारा, अभी हम लोग प्राइमरी स्कूल में है ना, तो सोचिए जब हम प्राइमरी स्कूल में रियली थे क्लास 1 में, तब क ख ग अचानक 2-3 रैंडम आ जाते थे, क के बाद य र या व, तो क्या होता था कि अटकते थे, बहुत जल्दी जल्दी नहीं पढ़ पाते थे। फिर क्लास 1 में जब प्रैक्टिस कराया गया, क्लास 2 में आके फिर लेटर्स को रीड करने के बाद हमने एक एक वर्ड्स को रीड करना सीखा, वर्ड के बाद सेंटेंस को रीड करना सीखा। वही हालात अभी हमारी होने वाली है, तो हमको तैयार रहना है। कोई भी टेक्स्ट, फैसिमाइल या आई कॉपी या फोटोग्राफ्स हमारे सामने है, तो रख के सबसे पहले हमने जो सीखा है, बेसिक जो लेटर्स हैं, उनको हम रीड कर लें, नोट करते चलें। उसके बाद फिर देखिए कि उसमें स्ट्रोक्स, मात्राएं कहाँ कहाँ लगे हैं, उन मात्राओं को जो नहीं समझ में आ रहा है वहाँ अटक के माथा पीटने की ज़रूरत बिल्कुल नहीं है। आप आगे बढ़िए, वो आपको नहीं रोक सकता। उसके बाद जब आप देखेंगे, कई बार क्या होता है कि कोई एक अक्षर जो है छूट गया है, नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, लेकिन अगर आपने उसके पहले और उसके बाद के अक्षर को पकड़ लिया और वो शब्द फटाक से क्लिक करेगा। जैसे अश्व, तो अ पढ़ लिया, व पढ़ लिया, और बीच का जो आधा श है व के साथ मिला हुआ है, वो आप आइडेंटिटी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो फट से आपको लगेगा हाँ ये तो अश्व शब्द हो सकता है। तो इसके लिए बराबर आपको थोड़ा सा जिस पीरियड का भी एपिग्राफ पढ़ना है, तो उस पीरियड की भाषा, उसका भी ज्ञान होना जरूरी है। कंटेम्प्ररी लैंग्वेज, जब भी हम कोई चीज़ सामने रखें तो फिर ध्यान दीजिए आप किस पीरियड में पहुँचे हैं। मौर्यन स्क्रिप्ट है, सातवाहना है, शुंगा है, गुप्ता है, पोस्ट गुप्ता है, नेल हेडेड है, बॉक्स हेडेड है, नागरी, प्रोटो नागरी है, तो उसमें कौन से पीरियड में आप जा रहे हैं, उस पीरियड का स्क्रिप्ट आपने देख लिया, उस पीरियड की लैंग्वेज पे जाइए। तो उस संस्कृत लैंग्वेज, ज़्यादातर जो जिस पीरियड की हम बात कर रहे हैं, संस्कृत लैंग्वेज का खूब उपयोग होता था। तो उसके लिए चूँकि हम अगर संस्कृत बैकग्राउंड के हैं तो हमारे लिए बहुत आसान है, नहीं है तो हमको डिक्शनरी का सहारा लेना चाहिए। कई बार, क्योंकि देखिए सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत क्या आने वाली है, जो मैंने खुद फेस किया है, इसलिए आपको शेयर कर रहा हूँ, कि जब आप अभी हम पढ़ते हैं, इसलिए पढ़ लेते हैं क्योंकि हमारे पास शिरोरेखा है। हम एक शब्द लिखते हैं क म ल, उसके ऊपर एक लाइन खींचते हैं, फिर दूसरा शब्द लिखते हैं एक, उसके ऊपर एक, उस शब्द के ऊपर एक शिरोरेखा होती है। तो कमल एक फूल है, अगर हमने ऐसा लिखा है कमल एक फूल है, पढ़ लेते हैं अलग अलग हिज्जे करके और फिर वापस में पूरा सेंटेंस पढ़ लेते हैं कमल एक फूल है। लेकिन जब हम प्राचीन अभिलेखों की बात करते हैं उनमें शिरोरेखा नहीं होती, हर लेटर इंडिविजुअल होता है। तो हमको ये समझ में नहीं आती कि कौन सा लेटर, 3 लेटर या 4 लेटर या 5 लेटर मिलके एक वर्ड बन रहे हैं। तो ये सबसे बड़ा संकट आता है। तो उस स्थिति में जब आप उस शब्द को पकड़ लेंगे तो उसको बाकी सबसे पृथक कर लेंगे। कमल अगर पकड़ में आ गया उस स्क्रिप्ट में, आप उसको अंडरलाइन कर लीजिए। ऐसे तोड़ तोड़ के, हिज्जे करके आपको पहले अक्षरों को पहचानना है, मात्राओं को पहचानना है, शब्दों का निर्धारण करना है, और शब्द अगर आपके बनते गए तो सेंटेंस अपने आप बन के सामने रेडी हो जाएगा। उसके बाद फिर आपको ट्रांसलेशन करना है। तो ट्रांसक्रिप्शन, उसके बाद ट्रांसलेशन, ये प्रक्रिया है जिससे आपको गुजरना है, और बिना हौसला खोए, क्योंकि ये काम आँख फोड़ू काम है। बहुत पेशेंस चाहिए, बहुत मेहनत चाहिए, और हिम्मत नहीं हारना है। और एक बार आपने इस फेज को, डिफिकल्ट फेज को पार कर लिया ना, तो फिर भी आप एकदम कंफर्टेबल होंगे। आप कोई भी नया इंस्क्रिप्शन, कॉइन या कॉपर प्लेट देखेंगे, आपके अंदर उत्साह जागेगा। अभी क्या होगा कि कोई भी चीज़ नया देखेंगे, आपको एकदम अरे बाप रे, ये तो बहुत कठिन है, ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, ऐसा फील होगा। लेकिन जब आप एक बार सीख जाएंगे तो उत्साह जागेगा, उसको कितना जल्दी मैं पढ़ सकता हूँ। तो ये स्टेज को फेस करना है, आपको आगे बढ़ना है। और बाकी कुछ डिफ़िकल्टीज़ आएंगी तो सर अभी हमारे साथ कल हैं, कल भी हमारा सेशन होगा, उसमें क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन होगा। आप लोग के जो भी ऑनलाइन मित्र जुड़े हुए हों उनसे मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आप अपने क्वेश्चन हमारे व्हाट्सएप नंबर पे डाल सकते हैं। आज हम उसकी सेटिंग चेंज करेंगे, पहले केवल एडमिन पोस्ट का था, आज हम उसकी सेटिंग चेंज करेंगे। आप अपने सारे G9 क्वेश्चन उसमें डाल दीजिए, तो कल हम क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन में सर के साथ डिस्कस कर लेंगे। यूँ तो हम लोगों ने 2-2 घंटे का शेड्यूल रखा था, लेकिन सर 3-3.5 घंटे तक हमको पढ़ा रहे हैं। ये सर का जो एनर्जी लेवल है बहुत मतलब काबिल तारीफ़ है। हम इसके सलाम करते हैं सर के इस एनर्जी लेवल को। और आप खुद समझ सकते हैं कि कितना वास्ट सब्जेक्ट है, इसको हम किसी समय में बांध नहीं सकते। इतना ज़्यादा एलेबोरेशन और इतना समय जो दे रहे हैं सर, ताकि हम जितना अधिक हो सके फैमिलियर हो सकें और अपने प्रॉब्लम्स जो हैं उनके साथ शेयर कर सकें। कल इसका प्रैक्टिकल सेशन भी होना है और उसके बाद समापन होगा, जिसमें सर के हाथों आप लोगों को प्रमाण पत्र भी दिया जाएगा। ये प्रमाण पत्र केवल इस बात का प्रमाण होगा कि आपने इस कार्यशाला में भाग लिया है। इसका प्रमाण नहीं होगा कि आप पुरालिपि के विशेषज्ञ बन गए। पुरालिपि का विशेषज्ञ बनना केवल और केवल आपके हाथों में है। तो हम बहुत आभारी हैं सर का, जो हमारे इस कार्यशाला को बहुत अच्छे तरीके से अपने सारगर्भिक उद्बोधन और व्याख्यान के माध्यम से एक आकार दे रहे हैं। और बहुत से मित्र हैं जो इसमें गहरी रुचि लेकर के भाग ले रहे हैं। तो इसके साथ ही हम ये जो सत्र है इसको यहाँ संपन्न कर रहे हैं। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कल फिर सुबह हम लोग 10 बजे यहाँ मिलेंगे।
ट्रेनिंग यही करेंगे।
ट्रेनिंग के लिए सर म्यूजियम भी कर लेते हैं, सबसे अच्छा
भी निकलेंगे
जी। कॉपर प्लेट है हमारे पास, स्टोन इंस्क्रिप्शन है, क्योंकि अगर फील्ड में जाते हैं तो वहाँ इतनी मटेरियल नहीं मिल पाएगी एक साथ एक जगह, और जाने आने में भी हमारा समय बहुत सारा कंज्यूम हो जाएगा। तो वो समय तो हम
सुबह ख़त्म करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि बिफोर लंच
जी
शाम को फ्लाइट है मेरा, इसीलिए
तो सारी चीज़ें हमको समय से पूरी भी करनी है, कमिटमेंट है। तो इन सब को परिस्थितियों को ध्यान में रखते हुए प्रैक्टिकल के लिए यही महंत घासीदास
देख सकते हैं पूरे ट्रेनिंग।
तो चूँकि हमारा ऑनलाइन का जो क्लास है उसका सेटअप यही है, तो हम कल उसके लिए दूसरा एक अल्टरनेट ऑप्शन डेवलप करेंगे सर।
कैन ओरली एक्सप्लेन देम
सर। और वहाँ प्रैक्टिकल करते हुए हम गूगल मीट पे कल एक लिंक क्रिएट कर लेंगे और शेयर कर देंगे सर। वहाँ मोबाइल से हम लाइव कर देंगे।
हाँ,
ये हो सकता है। तो ये व्यवस्था हम करेंगे ताकि जो हमारे फ्रेंड ऑनलाइन हैं वो भी उस प्रोसेस को देख सकें कि स्टैम्पेज कैसे हम तैयार करते हैं। फील्ड में जाकर के काम को देखना और समझना वो अपने आप में एक डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंस होता है। क्लासरूम में उसको बैठ करके सुनने के बजाय, तो हम कोशिश करेंगे कि कल का जो प्रैक्टिकल सेशन है उसको भी सर हम ऑनलाइन करेंगे।
Nice.
थैंक यू।
10 बजे
10 बजे मिल